For those of you who missed the last stream, we had a lot of people joining the Canlander clan on MTGO. Looks like we drummed up a lot of interest, so gonna try to get some more people into Highlander on MTGO. I know Ben is currently buying in as we speak, so maybe he'll start a stream as well. That would be sweet. Get some multiple Canlander streamers. I'm gonna keep this. We have an awesome card to see in our opening hand. Tendrils is, on the other hand, very bad, but we have Impulse, Mystical Teachings are also great, and Flusterstorm usually isn't dead. So we're gonna keep this one on the play. I can't remember what Wilhelm plays. I think it might be the red black discard deck, in which case Flusterstorm is gonna be great. Oh wow, they're cavernsing us. We're getting lucked. Rule 4 has never been more true. Alps, no, I haven't streamed for long. Actually, I just started this last week. It was my reading week, and my friend finished up the art that you see on the stream the Friday before. Yeah, down below the chat in the panels, I have some stream rules. Mostly just be respectful. Don't be a dongus. But rule 4 is I'm never lucky. So thanks for the follow, Alps. Flusterstorm isn't quite Spell Pierce. It only hits instant and sorcery, so if our opponent's primarily a creature deck with maybe some planeswalkers, then it's not quite as usable as Spell Pierce. Yeah, so I've not been streaming for long, but dress me. Oh, no you don't. So you are just going to get to use it as Spell Pierce here. 2 copies. Yeah, kinda. It's like what the young Pyromancer ability, or like the Aven Wind Mage ability is to Prowess. What Flusterstorm is to Spell Pierce. Yeah, Alps. I'm super excited that there's a big Canlander, or not big yet, but there's a growing Canlander community on Moto. I'm super excited for that. Just even since I've started streaming, there's been a few people who have built decks, and it's you just have to start somewhere. Not everybody's going to start with a tier 1 deck, and not everybody's going to be able to buy in right away. So I'm just moving my camera again. Sorry to do that. I know I knocked it at some point, so I'm gonna try to get it in the right spot. Hey Gen 2 Gengar, thanks for joining. Sam Weiser, thanks for the follow. If anybody wants to comment on the Mythic Championship, I'm going to be talking about it. So if you want to stay unspoilers, then you might want to leave the stream and just watch the VOD. But I was super excited. Did anyone else watch the wrong spell? Did anyone else watch the Mythic Championship? I thought it was super good. Hey everyone joining the chat. So we have a choice here between taking the fetch land to get us black mana, or just an island. I think I'm going to take the fetch land here. Sometimes this deck can struggle to get black mana online, so I'm just going to take the opportunity while I can. I thought the games in the Mythic Championship were super well played. A lot of the games are really good. Yeah. Would I play Sentinel Tower and Blue Moon? I've thought about trying it. I think you'd need to change up the composition of the deck a little bit, but I don't think it's ridiculous to try that. Every time I play this card, I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm not sure if Blue Moon needs it. Like, there might just be better options, but I'd be interested in trying it for sure. I actually don't mind the Sultai mid-range mirror, but yeah, definitely it gets old after a little bit. But I think that's a mirror that managing your resources and sequencing your plays is also really important. What are my favorite standard decks? Um, yeah, I'm actually planning to stream some standard as well, so it's totally on topic. Um, I'm gonna take Logic Knot and plan to win with Sentinel Tower. Let's try it. Let's try and do that. I could have taken Dark Petition there and tried to go for a more traditional High Tide route, but I'm gonna try to win with Sentinel Tower. Um, my favorite standard deck right now is Teamer Reclamation. If you go back in my VODs Thursday morning, if they're sorted by date, I played a Teamer Reclamation to a 5-0 in a traditional constructed event on Arena. I've really enjoyed that deck right now. I also like all of the Izzet decks. I like Phoenix. I like Drake's. I've been playing Mono Blue to some extent. I've been playing not Sultai, but I've been playing Blue Green Hadana's Climb, and I've liked that deck as well. I've mostly been trying to avoid. I don't enjoy playing aggro as much, so I haven't played any of the aggro decks. But uh, hey, Rocket John, we were just talking about that. I want to talk about the Mythic Championship, so this is a spoilers danger spoilers zone. So if you don't want the Mythic Championship spoiled, I'd advise leaving. Oh no, no problem at all. Leaving and watching the VOD if you're interested, or finding another stream to watch for now. I really liked watching the Mythic Championship. I'll give people a minute to leave before I delve into spoilers, but which version of Jund do you play, Lightning Bolt? Do you play the Goblin Chain Whirler status statue version, or nice Mercurial Lux? I'm actually playing zero Nexus in my Teamer Reclamation build. It's just a control deck that wins with either Expansion Explosion or Niv Mizzet. Mid range, no Chain Whirler. That's interesting, Lightning Bolt. No, there was only one Nexus deck in the top 8, and it was not victorious. It wasn't even in the finals. The finals was Yoshihiko Ikawa on Esper Control and Autumn Burchett on Mono Blue Tempo, and Autumn was just able to eke out a game 5 win. Singamuse, the deck we're playing right now is a High Tide. It's a combo deck, but we're trying to take an interesting line of play here where we try to win with Sentinel Tower instead of high tiding. We might end up high tiding eventually anyways, but I want to try a game where we lean heavier on Sentinel Tower as sort of an experiment. How did the Bant clone deck go? Not as well as Monday. Monday I lost a match that I think in general I'm favored against, and won 3 others, so I went 3-1. And then on Thursday when I played it again, I went 1-3. So I'm gonna shelve the Bant clones for a while and move on to something else. Holy cow, we might just be dead. I wonder if this is similar to the deck Nelson's been playing, the big black storm deck. Yeah, I think I really enjoyed watching the Mythic Championship. I think all the players played really well. There were some really great matches. So if you have a chance, I'd encourage you to go check out the VODs. I think the best games were likely LSV versus Marcio, Autumn versus Reed, and then the finals. Yeah, autumn winning was awesome. Yeah, so if they have tendrils in their deck, this might be a victory for them. Although they're not going to be able to have enough mana to cast this Dark Petition. I can't think of a card they can get that lets them cast Dark Petition here. So I'm not. Maybe they were a little jumped the gun a little on the Storm victory here. Maybe they were a little short on mana. Yeah, the finals were awesome, Cyclops boy. Yeah, Alps, it is a mid-range deck. We talked about it in one of the previous streams. If you're curious about any of the decks we're talking about that are from my stream, down below there's a stream decker panel. And if you click load decks, you can check out a bunch of all the decks we'll be talking about will be in there. A bunch of my standard decks are in there, as well as the 4 decks I have on Magic Online and the Bant Clones deck that we brewed a bit on stream that I was playing in paper last week. Yeah, game 5 was the patience they showed on waiting on the Curious Obsession was so wonderful. The Solo Assassin, thanks for the follow, as well as Arrow Hydra. Always appreciate the follows and everyone chatting it up. Hey Benzel, thanks for jumping in the stream. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. I do have some goofy names for some of my decks. I just copied the names I have from the client. So they ended with a demonic tutored card and passed the turn with a floating mana. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what ends up happening. Oh, Lake of the Dead. That can't be good. Kalitas. I don't know if we care. Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm just gonna Mystical Teachings for Dig Through Time here. Hey, Xavaron. How's it going? We can just get a Watery Grave. That will be fine. Wilco234, thanks for following the stream. For those of you just joining, we're jamming some High Tide. We're currently on a kind of weird line where we're trying to maybe test out leaning on Sentinel Tower a bit. Actually, I'm gonna sequence it such that Actually, I'm just gonna Into the Royal this with Kicker and maybe wait on the Dig Through Time. Or I can still cast the Dig Through Time if I want to, but I do kind of want to leave up the Logic Knot in case something untowards were to happen. Would I take High Tide to a totally unknown meta? Yeah, I actually did. This is the deck I played in the GP Van side event. We had just under 60 players. I think we had 59 eventually, which was a totally awesome showing given that gold border cards weren't allowed in the tournament, so everyone was playing with all real magical cards. I don't even know if we care that much about Karn, but I'm gonna counter it because I'm slightly scared. Counter it unless they pay. I guess this is bad because they can just Lake in response. So I need to counter it for 6. All right, I guess I will. I might just Time Spiral next turn anyways. And I managed to go 3-0 in that event with High Tide. I played against a Bant mid-range deck, which was something I would consider a really good matchup. Then I played against a red-green aggro deck, which is not a great matchup, I would say. And then I played against a Hoof, which is a good matchup again. I'm just gonna fire off the time spiral here. I think our odds of being able to clean up this Kalitas and get some more stuff going is pretty reasonable. I'm gonna target the Kalitas with this one and hope I can cast 2 more spells and then be able to target it again with the 3rd trigger. If I want to jam Yell at you, all right, sounds good, Exaveron. I'll let you know. Perfect. So we found our dig through time again. I think I'm gonna Mystical Tutor, target them with this one. Mystical Tutor. What does Mystical Tutor want to get? I think I'm just gonna get High Tide. Seems wrong not to. Then we're gonna draw 2. Just draw 3 here, actually. Leave up a Spell Snare. We don't need to bounce the Kalitas because the Sentinel Tower is gonna end it. So Jer, my friend and I were hoping to get a podcast together at some point, partially focusing on Canlander. We're from England, in a game store where there are basically no other Canlander players. As someone with a Canlander podcast, do you have any suggestions or tips? In terms of starting a podcast, I found the hardest thing to do is just to keep doing it. So my recommendation is make sure you have lots of ideas. Planning is super important. I'd recommend having like at least a rough script of what you want to talk about, so your ideas are somewhat cohesive. And then yeah, just get out there and do it. We're all right with Karn resolving. I think we're probably just winning next turn. We don't need to get tendrils, but I think we're going to be able to do enough things. So we're not going to give them Behold the Beyond. So this does look like the sort of mono black, big black storm deck that Nelson was playing last week. How does High Tide generate black mana if Swamp Islands end up getting tapped for blue during the combo turn? There's lots of cards in this deck that untap lands. There's Turnabout, Frantic Search, Cloud of Fairies, Snap, Treachery. So there's lots of ways this deck goes about untapping its lands. They're tapped out, so I'm just going to discard the Spell Snare. It's actually helping us, the discard here. Feeling our dig through time a little bit. I'm not going to fetch just yet because I'm going to play a top this turn. So we're going to try and see what we can find with this top before... Actually, maybe I'm going to cast Compulsive Research first. Oops. Cancel. Cancel. Abort. Accidentally targeted them with Compulsive Research. Just used to targeting them with the Sentinel Tower. Oh, wow. That is quite good. Let's discard the top and the counterspell. Let's Merchant Scroll. Or I'm just gonna Merchant Scroll for Turnabout to get more mana. Yeah, Ben, that was an above average Compulsive Research there, I gotta say. I mean, even if we missed there, we still had Dig and Blue Sun Zenith to find us things, so it's not as though we were short on things. Turnabout, target us, pay with blue, target them. We'll always yield to this now. Land, untap. Now we have all the mana in the world. Let's cast a Mind's Desire for fun. Reasonable chance this just gets us there. Yeah, they're just conceding to that one. So the Sentinel Tower did get us there. We ended up needing to high tide anyways, but yeah, I've been reasonably impressed with Sentinel Tower in this deck. This is another keeper. If we're able to find a high tide, we already have Time Spiral. Aetherflux Reservoir is pretty good at winning us the game, or at least keeping us in it as well. So, all right. So their turn one hand attack spell is going to work this time. Don't have a Flusterstorm available, so be interesting to see what they take. I think the most dangerous card in our hand is Time Spiral, but one of the advantages I think to playing a deck like High Tide is that some people don't have enough experience playing against it, so they're not they make some missteps when they play against it sometimes. Not that I'm saying taking opt here is wrong. Maybe our opponent has some more hand attack later, and they'll be able to get the Time Spiral out of here later, or they're going to try and choke us on resources, and that just fits their game plan better. But awesome, the Reservoir promo is really cool. There's a definite argument for just playing Sunken Hollow there, in case, because we have a 2-mana spell in hand already. Perhaps that was correct. Sign in Blood them. Notably, they have an Ebon Stronghold as well, so potential big play from them next turn. This is big black with a storm element. I'm pretty sure. No, these are just the islands I've had from drafting. I just clicked add islands. In paper, I try to focus pretty hard on getting additions and making my decks look nice. But in Magic Online, I decided it wasn't worth the additional investment, because I'm going to try to upkeep multiple decks on here. I figured that was enough investment, and investing more in order to make stuff look nice wasn't worthwhile on Magic Online when I already do that in paper. So our opponent pretty much gets to do whatever they want here. Really good, Freddy. Perfect timing. Yeah, normally I have all my basics matching in paper. I'm a big fan of the Rebecca Gay Commander lands. I have about 60 of each, and those are the only basics I use, except when I'm playing with snow basics, when my deck requires me to do that, either with Tainted Pact or Into the North or something. So, well, we're going to take Ideas Inbound, as it is the only option. Yeah, it really doesn't bother me as much as it seems some people, the mismatched lands. I was watching Autumn. I saw all their feature matches, and I never even noticed, so. Maybe it is. I'm not certain if it's free or not. I think you need to own versions of the cards. Like I might have enough matching ones. I'm not certain. I just kept clicking add island in my stack of however many. No Exaveron. Seinfeld traditionally is just mono blue with very few win conditions and ways to deal with resolved threats. Grim Tutor, and that's just going to resolve. If we don't draw anything relevant on our next turn, there's definitely an argument for just firing off this Ideas Unbound and trying to find some interaction. Although maybe they're just going to try to go off this turn. They have access to a lot of mana. Potentially 7. They could just Behold the Beyond and win here. Looks like they're casting a variable spell, though. Oh, Ristic Tutor. I don't know how well this is going to work out for them. Seeing as we have nothing else to do, certainly paying 2 to counter the Ristic Tutor there. Alps, High Tide isn't a super refined deck, so yeah, I'd say there are quite a few flex slots. In the past few years, I'm really the only one who's played it extensively. Like Ben's played it for a tournament, and maybe a couple other people have played it for a tournament, but I think I'm the only one who has multiple reps on the deck in the past few years, so it's not very refined. Wilco, both Ben and I got reelected to the council. There's some likely changes that are going to happen. I'm not going to speak to exactly which ones, although it's fairly common knowledge that it looks like Mana Crypt is likely going to go to 3 points, but I'm not gonna delve too much further into that. Yeah, Ben's been off High Tide for a little while. He prefers more streamlined linear Tendrils decks. Hey Micah, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. So our opponent's tanking on this Beseech the Queen. They only have it. Beseech the Queen and Lake of the Dead are certainly not a combo. Perhaps they should have led on Beseech the Queen, but maybe they were worried about getting it countered. But then maybe Beseech the Queen, after they had to sack all the Lake of the Dead lands, wasn't going to be good enough. Because they've cast Grim Tutor, Ristic Tutor, and Beseech this turn. So maybe they should have tried Beseeching for the Lake of the Dead and having Grim Tutor as their last tutor. Maybe that would have worked out better for them in terms of sequencing their tutors. I don't know what else they have, but that's sort of what it seems like to me. Awesome, Nairobi. This deck is super fun. I recommend practicing with it. Lots. You can't practice with this deck enough. There are so many decision points, and knowing sort of when you need to go for it against different decks is also challenging. I prefer having it blue-black. I don't think that, like, there are 4 win conditions in High Tide. There's generating infinite mana with Palancron, and then casting an X mana draw spell on your opponents. There's the 2 4-mana artifacts, Aether Flux Reservoir and Sentinel Tower, and then there's Tendrils of Agony, and I don't think the other 3 win conditions are reliable enough to cut Tendrils of Agony yet. It's definitely getting closer, but I just don't think we're there quite yet. Supreme Will. Alright, well that's good enough to not want me to cast Ideas Unbound. I definitely don't think we can cast Aether Flux Reservoir here after our opponent just tutored 3 times. They got Yawgmoth's Will with the Beseech, so we're likely just going to try to hope that they go below 3 mana at some point, and we'll be able to counter it. Liliana, the Last Hope. Yeah, that's fine. That's a few turns before that does anything. Holy cow, low man, that's exciting. Uh I also kind of want to try Thousand Year Storm in a High Tide-esque deck, and then you get some more draw sevens as well. So maybe that's something worth trying. I'm not certain, but so they minused and have no creatures. That's fine. They bend ill-gotten gains and Smuggler's Copter. I don't think Dynavolt Tower's reliable enough. You need to cast 3 spells in order to get 1 bolt. So you need to cast 21 spells in order to win. And I think that's with it in play. It's not retroactive like Aetherflux Reservoir and Sentinel Tower, that if you cast the first few spells without them in play, it doesn't really matter. There's an argument for casting Supreme Will end step there, but I don't think we needed to. So our opponent just has Yawgmoth's Will in hand. I still don't think I can tap out here, but they're running low on swamps. Maybe I'm gonna cast Ideas Inbound here and try to find a hard counter. I think that's a reasonable plan. Yeah, this will work. Okay. So I'm gonna discard the 2 lands in the turnabout, I think. Maybe I'll keep one of the lands and discard the Palancron. I'm likely just going to end up casting this Time Spiral, so we can still discard the turnabout. I think Thousand Year Storm's worth trying, but I'm not certain it's good enough. It definitely does some ridiculous things, but it doesn't do anything by itself. And 6 mana is certainly a lot, and it runs into the same problem that the blue-black deck will have, in that sometimes you're going to be off your splash color because you can't play non-islands in High Tide. It's just too anti-synergistic. Sick, Ben. Do you have a list for it? I really don't care if they Praetor's Grasp me. They can get Demonic Tutor, I guess, which is annoying, but then if they cast it, it goes into my graveyard, so I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Thanks, Ben. I'd love to take a look at that deck. No fast bond to 0. Yeah, Lava Shot. High Tide fun stuff. Oh, great. Trent's in the chat. One of the reasons I wanted to try a Thousand Year Storm in High Tide is because I think High Tide's one of the decks that could take advantage of it. I think if they grasp my Tide, I also don't care. I don't know what they're grasping, but I let it resolve because their other card in hand is Yawgmoth's Will, and I'm pretty sure that kills me. So I think if our opponent might have sequenced their tutors differently on an earlier turn, we might have already been dead. So we're already playing with borrowed time. I love you, Trent. You probably won't see me playing Highlander Battle of Wits. Maybe eventually, maybe that'll be like a stream goal at some point, but make me suffer through playing Battle of Wits, but we'll have to see. they got my Dark Petition. They only have one floating, so I'm just going to counter this unless they pay 3. I also think it's unlikely that Ben will play it at a Friday night paper fight, but I won't speak for him. So they still have Yawgmoth's Will, but now we have mana to be able to play the Reservoir and hold up Logic Knot. So, and they're also out of swamps now. So I think our opponent's actually in rough shape now. We've sort of outlasted their Lake of the Dead here. Grim Monolith, yeah, that one's fine. They're just gonna cast the Yawgmoth's Will. That's what it looks like. That is not going to resolve, friend. I'm sorry. Okay.